afternoon. This is Cardiff News Plus with Agrima Sharma and Mohammed Tabish. It's 4 o'clock. Health experts in Wales say there is an urgent need for new drugs and vaccines to tackle tuberculosis following a rise in number of cases. According to World Health Organization, TB is world's most deadliest infectious disease. Last year, there were almost 100 cases in Wales, a rise of 10% since 2023. Mishal Hussain reports.
Tuberculosis is a disease only affected a small proportion of the population in Wales, but new figures shows that now it's on a rise. In 2023, there were 84 cases in Wales, but last year it rose to 95 cases, which is around 3 cases per 100,000 people, and it's a trend that's worrying health experts.
Tuberculosis is a disease that's been around for a long time, and it's one of the commonest bacterial diseases in the world. And efforts to develop effective vaccines have yet to prove there's yet to be a breakthrough. Antibiotic resistance is an emerging, increasing problem. So at this moment in time, I think we still have an urgent need for new drugs and new vaccines to treat this condition.
So what is tuberculosis, which is also known as TB? Well, tuberculosis is a bacterial infection which can be treated by a long course of antibiotics. If not treated, it can be fatal. The infection affects the lungs and can cause people to cough out blood. This laboratory in Cardiff University is trying to work out why the disease is now more common here. When we spoke to people on the streets of Cardiff, not many people were aware about the disease.
I read a few articles about it. My mum was actually telling me to be careful because I've got asthma.
One that I know had it, and some of the symptoms that they got was like coughing up blood and stuff like that, and they went to hospital. Luckily it got caught like quite early on, and they're like recovered now, but it was a really hard time for the family.
Wales still has the lowest rate of tuberculosis in the UK, but Public Health of Wales says that the rise in numbers is a serious health concern. They urge everyone to be aware about the symptoms. If you have a persistent cough or lasting for more than 3 weeks or swelling in your neck, they say that you should contact your GP.
A Welsh Labour MP has criticised his own party's plan to change disability benefit payments, which could affect 250,000 people in Wales. In her spring statement, Richard Reeves explained that the qualification rules are being tightened because, according to her, some people are misusing the benefit. Mid Wales Labour MP Steve Witherden criticised the plan, stating that it would lead to increased suffering and shorten more lives. Our reporter Aparna Jacob has more details. Aparna, tell us more.
So, it is unusual for a Labour Party MP to criticise his own party, and Steve Witherden MP said, Chancellor Reeves is making a political choice. And he also said like he's worried about our most vulnerable.
Can you tell us more about what the cut will mean?
So, the impact assessment that has come out talks these disability cuts will directly impact 250,000 people, including 50,000 children. That means 3.2 million lives will be affected.
How are other parties reacting, Aparna?
So the Plaid Cymru has urged for an urgent debate at Senate because Wales will be disproportionately affected. And Ellen Morgan said she has written to Liz Kendall, Pension Secretary, to get a Wales-specific plan instead of England and Wales combined plan. And she also, we don't know yet how she still feels about the Welsh Labour MP's criticism on his own party.
Thanks, Aparna. Chancellor Richard Reeves is warning that the US tariff on cars could damage the UK economy. The day after she delivered the spring budget, the Chancellor confirmed Britain is in intense negotiations with the US but has no plans to retaliate. Reeves warns that a trade war could drive up inflation and hurt British export.
Now some global news. 27 people have been killed in a huge wildfire burns in South Korea. Ancient temples have been destroyed in the largest wildfires in South Korea's history. Authorities believe human activities sparked the fires. but strong winds and dry conditions have allowed them to spread rapidly, hindering firefighters' efforts.
The reopening of one Cardiff mains concert venues have been delayed for another year. It was shut in 2023 because of concerns about the safety of the type of concrete used in the roof. The popular concert hall was originally set to open in 2025, but now it's not expected to happen until 2027. At the earliest, the delay is in further below for musicians and students who relied on the venue. Our reporter Sandy Shabe has more.
18 months after its sudden closure, Cardiff St David's Hall remains closed. The world-class concert venue was at the heart of the Wales classical music scene. It was originally expected to be opened this year, but the Cardiff Council has now announced the venue will remain closed until 2027 at the earliest.
The venue itself of St David's Hall is one of the jewels in Cardiff's cultural crown. It's fantastic acoustic, and the atmosphere when you're in there as an audience member or as a performer is just really electric, and we miss that.
The venue is known for hosting prestigious international competitions like the Welsh Proms and the BBC Cardiff Singer, which attracts top talent from across the globe. Leah Fryers-Fogarty, a music student at Cardiff University, hopes to manage orchestras one day.
I'm not playing as much as I used to. I still love playing, and as a kid I definitely dreamed of being able to play in venues like that, so it's a shame that it's shut.
The closure of St David's Hall has not just affected music concerts, but students whose graduations were supposed to be held in this venue.
You were meant to graduate from St David's Hall. That's where the Royal Welsh usually books, and it means you can have as many of your family there as you like. In the absence of St David's, there isn't anywhere the college has been able to find, apart from our own concert hall, which is quite small, and you can only have 2 people there, which is a real pity when you want to celebrate with family and friends.
The council has entered into a lease agreement with AMG, who are a national operator that manages music venues throughout the UK. They are now collaborating with this operator to ensure that the venue is open safely.
The venue's roof was found to contain wrack, a type of lightweight concrete prone to sudden failures. 2 planning applications have been submitted to replace the venue's roof. After today's news, music lovers are going to have to wait a little bit longer.
How often do you fill your garden waste bags? Well, now it won't be just once a year. At Cardiff Council introduces a new policy to collect all year round. Community gardeners are encouraging people to get more into gardening.
This vegetable garden makes a surprising amount of waste. Now, Dylan Marcinaro in Adamstown will be able to get rid of it more often.
It is a convenient service for me because that means I don't have to store my garden waste in the garden or somewhere else in the property for too long. You know, I can hang on to it for 2 weeks. So having it collected is actually quite useful.
For some residents, a new policy of garden waste means better collection and less hassle. But here at the Riverside Community Garden, they've been doing things differently with composting, wormery, and a new mindset about waste. The gardeners here drop fruit peelings and leftover food into this wormery. Then the worms break them down into compost. The process also produces a liquid that can be used to feed plants. But the gardeners here think the extra collections will help home gardeners.
I think it's really good to have this change. I think people with their gardens really need it. They really benefit from being able to have their waste taken away, but also that the council is then turning that waste into compost that people can then use back in their garden.
It always felt a bit strange when they stopped collecting waste in October. I've had bags of waste plant material to put out for the lot that we've collected up over the winter. So it's a welcome change to be collecting it 50 weeks of the year.
The added bonus of extra collection means there will be more compost from Cardiff Council for community gardens like this one, for schools and other community groups across the city.
CU reports. Operators of the Monmouthshire and Brecon Canal have warned that the canal could dry up within a week if there is no rainfall. Nearly 3 million people visit the canal each year for boating, cycling and walking. and many believes that the canal dry up would be devastating. The Welsh government says this issue is beyond their control.
Sports news. Wales head coach Sean Lynn has made 2 changes to his starting 15 to face England in Wales in Women's Six Nations in Cardiff on Saturday. The game is expected to be played in front of record crowd for women's sport fixture in Wales. Here is our sports reporter Yutong Gao.
Wales put up a strong fight but unfortunately lost 24-21 to Scotland in last weekend's Six Nations match. And now we are outside the Principality Stadium. The team now has regrouped and fully focused on the match with England this weekend.
Prop Gwathlin Pears and Loch Gwancrab have been deemed fit to start at Principality Stadium. Wales have not beaten England for 10 years and look to add to the history against ever-powerful opponents.
We've got so many tickets sold. It's going to be such a crazy, great environment, and playing obviously at the heart of Wales, in the Principality. I think it'll actually come down to, controlling the emotions, settling ourselves and trusting that whatever we do this week, we'll put it into place, and it's just a case of playing with confidence on the weekend and trying to get that performance.
After the men's Six Nations, fans are excited about women's Six Nations and hopeful for a long-awaited win.
I think it's going to be a very exciting time for everyone who's interested in the sport. I think that it's going to be a real intense moment for the players. They want to win on both sides, and that everyone who's engaged in it, there's a lot of good sportsmanship all around.
More than 18,000 tickets have been sold for the game, already a record for women's sports event in Wales.
And now, time for the weather. Today, a mostly cloudy start with the chance of the odd spot of light rain or drizzle. In the afternoon, a few more sunny spells will break through the cloud. An increasingly southwesterly breeze, with the highest being 14 degrees Celsius. That's all from us at CNP News this afternoon. Join us again tomorrow. Goodbye.